Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistella. How's it going? It is Tuesday. We started streaming on Tuesday mornings at least. And we are going to hopefully get treasure chest to open today. Maybe. So morning. Let's just copy all this stuff over here. Yeah. I need to manage this. Manage this to-do list a bit. Move the backlog somewhere below. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on organizational stuff today. I want to mostly just do coding stuff. So where did we leave off? What was the last thing we did? Get log -1. Add treasure chest displays. Yeah, so you could move treasure chests, but you couldn't open them. So we have this is done. Highlight them as destinations, get the building drop zone to work. Okay, so I think this is where we left off. Hey, Wendy. I was just in your stream. Oceanborn's looking pretty good. The real treasure is getting to have you here every day. Sinistella. Yeah, hey Ryan. Hey future millennium. Hey John. And hey Wendy. Yeah, so things are going well here. I hope everything's going well with you. We've been working on, I'll show you really fast. We've been working on treasure. So short context is we've been working on this game for a while. Next Fest happened. I started marketing a little bit more. People seem mostly happy with the game, but they want more of it. And this is the mechanic that we're going to have for the second half of the game, essentially. So you're going to eventually get this build treasure room, allows you to find and open treasure chests. So the allows you to find part, you still have to battle. You'll find these as like a 2% chance drop or something like that. And this is a work in progress. So this does not look like a room and there's no treasure in it yet. And there's just a random human here. So once you have the treasure room, you can find treasure chest, and then it'll unlock this, the weapon grinder and key storage. So how this works is like you'll eventually get a treasure chest. You'll put it in your treasure room. There will be a little timer or something above it, almost like it's a mobile microtransaction game, but it's not. It'll say something like 10 minutes remaining until this opens, and then you will grind weapons into keys. So hopefully we have, let's wait for this to happen. Yeah. So they're bringing some weapons over here. They'll put them in this weapon grinder. We need to make this walkable. And then this thing will spit out keys, which you will then go put into the treasure chest and open them. And yeah, that's the basic idea. Then the chest will spit out a whole bunch of loot. You'll sell the loot in your shops, so on and so forth. HD smoke. Hey, Snipe. And hey, Mohammed. Can you see comments on YouTube? Yeah, I can see comments on YouTube. I've got them open over here. Oh, look, new icon color. Happy 2 years, happy red icon, Thank you very much for the 2-year subscription. That's incredibly kind of you. So yeah, I am excited about this. I think this mechanic is going to be pretty interesting. The keys themselves could have special properties here, and your skeletons will be able to move them to the chests. They'll be able to move chests into the treasure room. There's some, humor behind this that I have planned. Everything's moving right along. Wendy, thank you too. Thank you for the heft duration minus 11 months. I hope your coding's been going well. I hope the game has been progressing. It's nice to see. I can't help but want to enter the stream and be like, Wind Waker. I'm assuming you, whoops, what had just happened? I'm assuming you played Wind Waker. I was torn on this game when it launched. I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but then they came out with what, the remaster, the HD version or something, I think on Wii U or on Switch. Yeah, I guess on Wii U. And I played it again and I'm like, it's not my favorite Zelda game, but it's not bad. Code's going well. Absolutely love Wind Waker. Best Zelda they've made. Interesting. Best Zelda they've made. In my mind, it's Breath of the Wild for sure. And then I think A Link to the Past or Link's Awakening. The vibe of this game is just like through the roof for me. Link's Awakening is just such a cool game, and Link to the Past I think did so much right, but Breath of the Wild knocked it out of the park. And yeah, Wind Waker is just one of those like, oh well, you're on the water forever. Canadian Dane, thank you too for the resub. Happy 2 months. It's okay to have wrong opinions. I'm glad you could admit that, Wendy. That's very big of you. All right, so get building drop zone to work. I think we're already highlighting these as destinations. Are we? I don't actually even know. Let me try that. No, we're not. Okay, so I didn't do either one of these things. Hey, Ghoulpen. Unfair to compare Wind Waker to other Zelda games since it's so decidedly different. Yeah, I guess you could sort of put Zelda games into one of like maybe three buckets. There's sort of the 3D, the 2D, and then the open world ones. That's how I'd kind of say it. And maybe you can only compare within these buckets. But even then, it's like where does Zelda 2 go? It's 2D, but it's as open world as you can get for a 2D game on the NES. And a lot of people don't really consider it a Zelda game, I guess. Majora's Mask was so different. It stuck with me for most of the 3D ones. I've never finished Majora's Mask. I got the remaster on the 3DS, and I only played it when I was traveling. So there were so many months in between gameplay sessions that it was almost impossible to remember what to do. And it wasn't so remastered that they put in all the modern game stuff of like, here's your main quest, and here's where you have to go, and here's what you learned, and you can rewatch that cutscene. So yeah, Zelda games are not meant to be played with like a 6-month break in between every session. All right, so yeah, we got to start with this. Highlight treasure chest displays. So we have the treasure room, and the treasure room has get all item displays, and this should be used, but isn't, I guess. Town, get all. Treasure chest displays. This is here. Do we not have a way to highlight them? Oh, we don't have the valid ones, do we? Yeah, allow workers to put chests into the treasure room. All right, well, what if I just didn't do this? What happens? Let's go find out. Planning out the flow of time and your time resets, timing the events, wonky world building just stuck with me. Yeah. I've listened to all the music, and I like from what I've read about the game, I like the idea of it. I don't know if you've heard of, what's that new Zelda ROM? Between OT and MM. You might like this. A Link No, not that one. Hang on. Darn it, what is it called? There's some new ROM that somebody made. Kaza made it. Hang on, maybe I can find it through that. The Missing Link. Yeah, I don't know if you heard of The Missing Link, but you should Google that. I'm not gonna share direct links myself, but it's a ROM hack someone made that is like from the ground up. Well, not really from the ground up, but a ton of custom content and stuff. And if you really like Majora's Mask, you might find that interesting. I myself am not interested by the idea of playing a sort of old looking Zelda game. It was amazing with the transition open world format. Didn't do it for me. Oh man, I loved it. I loved it so much. All right, so now if we drag a weapon, does this thing get highlighted? It does. So then it doesn't have to do with this function here. So I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And possibly we are not... No, I don't see what I'd be doing wrong here. Let's look at what the storeroom does. Get all item displays. It's get valid ones. Get occupied or empty. Valid is for a particular item, though. I guess this is kind of what we want. Where is this being called from? Huh. Yeah, I don't know what I'm missing here. Let me take a look at this one more time. Let's put this, let's get a treasure chest over here. Oh, it is getting highlighted. Oh my God. Okay. I thought I was going crazy here. All right, so here's what's broken. When you already have a treasure chest over here, the second one doesn't highlight. So that's the real problem. So why is that happening? We just get all of these. This can't possibly be right. Fault. Something must filter this at some point. Will accept item. There is no concept of will accept item here. Yeah. How is that even a thing, though? The item display should have that, which means it should know that it can accept treasure. It just stops when you have two. This is only a problem when you have a chest on one of the displays already. And try dragging another one. Where else is this called from? There are only 2 locations here. Remove, highlight, and process. This gets all possible destinations. Gets in... Oh, gets the item that you're going to drag, and then checks to see if you will accept this item. Why would the other item display not work this way? Huh, okay, well, let's put a breakpoint in here then as we're dragging the item. So if I, well, I guess I'll not click that. If I click this, and now just put a breakpoint here, it should break in. Perfect. We should get the destination that is inside the treasure room. It'd be impossible to tell which one it is from just this list, but we could go through them and find out. But then we get all the valid ones. And if I just skip outside of here. Oh, is it failing? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I didn't realize. Then this is going to be a lot easier to figure out. All right. So object reference not set to an instance of an object. So item display will accept. All right. And then what's failing exactly here? This part. Current item ID. Quantity. Town. I wonder if this wasn't initialized. Oh my goodness. Maybe it wasn't. Oh my goodness. It definitely wasn't. Well, that was a mistake. Oh, there's no init for that. Does this has a reference to the town. It's from create. Oh, so we never created this correctly then. Well. All right, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to only create these things on the fly. I now realize this. Oh boy. So nowhere else in the game did we make these in the editor. So I just had to delete these things. All right, well, I'm glad we figured this out. So what we could do here is we could keep track of what positions these should be in, and I think that's what I want to do. Alternatively, we just put them in code for now. I guess I don't really care either way. Yeah, I don't really care either way. Let's just delete these for now. You know, wait. Before we do that, let's copy the positions so I can at least save these. Copy value. That is not copy value. What? Oh, it's probably only within Godot that you can copy the value. All right, so it's 2956. 2956, and the other one is at 9056. All right, and these were never really like aesthetically chosen. I just slammed them into the treasure room. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get this to work. So now inside the treasure room, we're going to create all of the displays that we make. So let's do a vector to positions, or like item display positions, equals new 2956. Cool. Good. Then we go through each of those. Vector 2 looks good. So we make this, and then we pass in what, an X and a Y? All right, that's a little weird. But sure, I guess we can make these vector 2Ys then and not get the ints here. Cannot convert from float to int. Oh, because that also wasn't a 2i. Okay. Treasure chest display. We could do that. I don't really care about that. Then add them here. We don't need this anymore, and we do need this. All right, that'll do it. And we should have fixed that problem. The next problem to fix after that is to make the entire building act as a drop zone. So you don't need to be super accurate with how you're clicking over here. So we build this, and we get some treasure chests. So if I, oh, whoops. All right, this complicates things a little bit because this particular thing that we're trying to create is not an item display. It's actually a treasure chest display. So we need to make one of those. So we could parameterize this. This is probably only used in 3 other places, maybe 2. 1, 2. Yeah, just 2 other places. Or we could have it taken a type and from the type figure out the scene path. How do I care to do this? Yeah, I guess the enumeration way would make sense. All right, let's do that. So do we have any enumeration inside of another class that I want to look at? I want to see exactly where I put this sort of thing. Here, yeah. All right, that's what we're going to do. Item display. This goes at the bottom. Item display type. We'll say like normal and treasure. Yeah. And then we take in one of these. Oh, wait, we don't even need to do that. The item category can tell us. Oh, well, then fine. All right. String scene path equals item category. Item category dot treasure. And we never saved this, did we? Treasure, no. Treasure chest display is what it's supposed to be. Where is this located? Show in file system. It's this. Gotta run. Have a great stream. Catch you soon. Did I actually run the Windy command earlier? I did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for anyone who's watching me who is not already watching Windy, please do go follow him. It's a great lead into this stream. Hope you have a good day, Windy. Thanks for the raid. All right. So this is what we need here. Treasure chest display. Town treasure chest display. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good indeed. All right, now we use this from here. And then we use the scene path over here. Okay. I think we should have fixed everything at this point. Let's go try it out. Yeah, so my goal for this morning is to get it to the point where loot will actually drop out of treasure chests. There's some things that we have to do for this that we could cut corners. And maybe we do that, but then we're going to eventually need to solidify this anyway. All right, so get rid of this. I don't care about this breakpoint. So it's highlighting both of these. That's good. Now, when we make a second one, it still highlights it. And if I drag between these, it highlights it. Yeah. And this is exactly how these things work, right? It should be. No, there's also the concept of highlighting in blue when you get close enough. So that's, I think, part of the drop zone behavior that we're about to go implement. But this is a fix to dragging and dropping items. I thought about this as I was making them, and I'm like, no, there's no reason to do this. But there was a very big reason to do this. So fix treasure chest displays. I was creating them through the editor. So the town instance was never set on them, which meant there would be a lot of exceptions that would print out while dragging your second treasure chest to the treasure room. Okay, done with that. Next, get the building drop zone to work. This should be pretty straightforward, I think. So the other thing that works like this is a shop, for example. And we have this item drop zone. This is just get closest drop location. And then we need there to be a drop zone target. And we don't have that yet, I think. Yeah, so adding that should be pretty easy. Let's go into shop. We have a item drop zone. I just literally add this in. I should be good. And put a collision shape underneath it. Let's go do that. So add in an item drop zone. And then add, do that. And then add in a collision shape 2D underneath it. And then just set the collision shape. We can unfavorite these properties so this stuff actually shows up how I expect it to be. Just make a rectangle. The whole thing can be the rectangle. We probably want to hide this. And then I think we want to make this accessible via unique name. Yeah. Then we can just go into the shop script and pretty much take everything that they do. So here's step one. We put this over here. What else does the shop have? It's an entity. Interesting. It's a building, which I think is only needed for upgradable buildings. Is that true? Storeroom shop. Okay, sure. All right, so let's get the drop zone stuff. Drop zone. So we want this. On drop zone, so we already have that. I don't need that. We need all of these things. And anything else? Well, that's apparently it. There should be a function that we're missing, though. Get closest drop location. Get closest drop location here. So we take this, we put this over here, and voila. Did I even just press space? No, I didn't. Get item displays versus get all item displays. What is the difference? Get item displays. Nah, they're the same. All right, why is there red here? Red means bad. I don't like bad. Does not implement the thing? It does implement the thing. Oh, there's also this stuff. Oh my God, I forgot. There's interface inheritance here. Drop off, will accept, and get reason why it won't be accepted. So drop off. Get closest drop location. So that should work. What else do we have? Time to implement the result pattern. I don't think I know something by the name result pattern. Design pattern used in programming to handle operations that can either succeed or fail. Provides a structured way to represent the outcome of an operation. Oh, I do know this pattern, just not by name. Yeah, I don't think we need something special for this. The only results that matter here are just a Boolean of like, did it work or did it not work? I know what you're talking about for this whole like get the reason why this thing didn't work, but this is for a very specific case. And I actually wrote a comment for why this is here. So like if we were to compute this every single time, then workers would be computing a string when this happens like all the time in the game. So it was like split for performance reasons basically. Hey, Manakas. All right, what else do we need? Will accept item. Will accept item. Yeah, we don't have that. Will accept item. That's here. All right, so the item category needs to be equal to treasure. And there needs to be something that will accept this. This is kind of weird. Why? Yeah, this is kind of weird. This clause shouldn't be needed. I guess it's just a quick check. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It's technically redundant. And then we have one more function that we need. And that is get reason why it won't be accepted. And this should be pretty straightforward. All right, so if it's not a treasure chest, then we need all the localized stuff here. I'll get that. There. And let's get the messages. I guess just copy paste these. All right, so the treasure room can only accept treasure chests. And shop full, we should probably rename to I'll just say full. Yeah, that's fine. The treasure room is already full. Yeah, there. Okay, drop zone stuff should be implemented. This can be commented or deleted completely. The rest of this shouldn't matter. Hey, Leap Year Girl. All right, does it work? Does it work? I should really make this thing cost less. All right, so here's some treasure chests. We should just be able to drop here. Yeah, perfect. And then if I do the same thing, it goes to the other one. And if I try doing that again, it says the treasure room is already full. If I try dragging an item that's not allowed, it says the treasure room can only accept treasure chests. Perfect. Partial class is a localization mechanism. Is that a common thing? It's because we generate the functions to fetch these things. So invalid destination wrong type, we have a messages.get invalid destination wrong type. And part of the reason we do this is for any parameterized messages that we have. So if you ever look at something like here. So like this says hurls a fireball at a single enemy for damage. This allows us to have type, or not type, sorry. This allows us to have the parameter passed in through our function that we generate. Is it common? It's hard for me to say. I haven't seen enough of how other people do localization. All right, building drop zone looks like it's working. Yeah. Now, something I do not like about this is there is a lot of very similar code now across these classes. And I have this written down. I don't think it's worth holding up development right now, but I wrote already somewhere. This is very similar to, yeah. Same thing with drop zones. Everything is practically identical. So I don't think we need to duplicate the code from I accepts item and what's the other one? I drop zone, this one. Okay, let's check that in. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, looks good. All right, make treasure room into a drop zone. This is for ease of use. We did this a while ago. I mean, it should be pretty obvious why you do something like this, but just to make it clear, when you are trying to, let's say you have this armor shop, instead of having to target exactly this point, you could just get it in the general vicinity of the shop and it's going to put it where you want it to be. So yeah, you could do something like this and just, whoops, and just drag a little bit. So that's going to help for the treasure shop as well, because the position that you put this in doesn't matter. In fact, none of these positions matter. If they did, you might not want that behavior, but since the positions don't matter, then actually that's not technically true, I guess. The position does kind of matter. Like if we had upgraded everything here, this display and this display are technically closer to the boundaries, so you'd probably want to put all your items here, but that's really minor. Yeah, other than that, they don't matter. All right, so drop zone done. Next, add an NPC. We have the NPC, although they're temporary. They're eventually going to look like a sentient chest, but for now, just make a generic NPC. Make their dialogue. They should have an exclamation mark until you click them. Did we ever mention saving this stuff? What is going on with my keyboard right now? This is usually a sign I have to clean it. One of the few problems of having a cat. Although I'd have to clean it anyway, but the cat makes me have to clean it faster. Save the treasure room, the NPC, exclamation state, and all the chests. Yeah, good. All right, so they're dialogue. So they can't be a farmer anymore. Hey, Dark. Please fix the chest sprite. Yeah, that's already on the list. The reason that's even the case is because there's a shadow. But to remove the shadow, I mean, removing the shadow is pretty easy. Wait a second. There's no right side shadow on these, I just realized. Huh. Anyway, fixing the shadow is easy. We just delete some pixels, but the problem is we need to do more to this sprite sheet. Like, I still don't understand this, but if you look at any row in this sprite sheet, there are 3 of the same sprite. Like, there's no difference between these 3. There's no difference between these 3. I don't know why this was done, such that the entire sprite sheet is just tripled for some reason. I can't see any difference. So yeah, when we finally cut this down, we're going to need to delete all of this, all of this, all of this, and then the individual shadows. And I just haven't spent the time doing that work because it's not just deleting them, right? Then it's also like removing the spaces in between that are now pointless. So yeah, that's just on the list for later. I believe it's because of the animation. No. It's I think you're misunderstanding. So if you look down the sprite sheet, you can see the squishing. That's fine. But why is this column exactly the same as this column, which is exactly the same as this column? These are all the same in the columns. The squishing animation is just one column. So I don't know why that was done. Like I said, they're identical sprites. And the sprite sheet was duplicated like 8 times within the Super Retro World pack. and 1 or 2 of them did not have this blue chest in them. That's very strange. Keyboard is catboard. It is. I have the funniest video of my cat from the other day. I was eating lunch and she sat next to me and like rested her head in the crook of my arm and just like stared at the food. But it's just a video of me eating, so I'm not going to share that on stream. All right, so make their dialogue. They can't be a farmer, basically. Farmer. We don't have what they should be, so I'll just keep them as a human, I guess. And we'll just save this as treasure spirit. That's what they're supposed to be. So them being a human definitely doesn't make sense. Then as far as what they look like, I'm not even going to customize it. I don't think it matters. Treasure spirit. All right, there's that. Just save that. And then get a different script here. This is farmer.cs. We're going to go save this underneath the treasure folder as treasure spirit. Treasure spirit. And then assign this script. Done. And then we just set up their animation or their dialogue. Say standby, greeting, greeting too. So let's come up with what they should say first. What should they say? Hello. Well, what should they tell you? Let's not come up with a dialogue first. What do they have to tell you about? Find treasure chests from battling. Then move them here. I'll convince them to open. You can speed this up with keys. Yeah. This is the silly part of this. The treasure spirit is talking to the treasure chest. I think this will all be pretty clear once people just play this, but still the NPC is just in case you get stuck or something. So then we need 3 lines of dialogue. These greetings are right now in farmer states. I guess we're gonna go make a new states folder here for treasure spirit states. And we'll save greeting. Hi, I'll tell you how your treasure room works. All right, NPC names. Get treasure spirit, sounds good. We don't have that function though. Treasure spirit. All right, go on. We don't have a dialogue for them either. What do I want to do about this? I guess let's just copy paste this for now and say that it's the treasure spirit, but then don't actually do anything about it. Yeah. That way we only have to modify one part of the code and not all of the parts of the code. Only a single partial type declaration may have a parameter list. Oh, this is in the wrong spot. Treasure, spirit states. There we go. Okay. I think that's good. So standby is also a state that we need that we don't have. So let's go save that. Treasure, spirit state. All right, so that puts us in a greeting. Greeting needs to go to greeting 2. Greeting 2 looks, what, identical to this? Yeah. So let's just save this as greeting 2. All right, so this is what we said. Find treasure chests. You can now find treasure chests by battling. Bring them here. There's a lot of little stuff I want to communicate without this being like 3 sentences long. And I guess the important part is the chests are rare. So you're not just going to find them every single battle. And I don't want this to indicate that you're going to find them by every single battle. And then that they need to be brought here. How about you... No. And the other way we could phrase this is bring treasure chests that you find by battling. Bring treasure chests here that you find by battling. This would be kind of a succinct way of saying this. I think I prefer this way. You can now find treasure chests by battling. Bring them here. Yeah. You can now sometimes find. Yeah. The chance to find a chest. I'm not sure if the character should tell you this, and it might vary by location. But I think just knowing that there is not a guarantee. The other thing we might want to consider is when you make this treasure room, it just starts with a treasure chest, but that might make you think that the room can provide the chest, and it doesn't. So maybe we just make the next battle that you win guarantee drop a treasure chest. And you'll be like, oh, I'm getting it every time. And you try it again and you realize, no, I'm not getting it every time. So yeah, there are some little things we can do to nudge this. All right, so this should be saved as greeting 2. And then greeting 2 goes to greeting 3. Greeting 3 doesn't exist yet. Greeting 3 is going to be the part where they say I convince them to open. Sounds good. So let's save this as greeting 3. I can, what did I say in the thing? Something about like asking them nicely. It wasn't even my idea. Yeah, there it was. I will ask them nicely to open themselves, but it takes me time. People are gonna be like, what is this? I will ask them nicely to open themselves, but it takes me time to convince them. You can speed this up by offering them keys. Is that all we need to say? Yeah, nice. I think it's pretty good. Hey, who cares? Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. So then this is going to be the final one. So greeting 4, we need to do something like this. So this is a text dialog base state, which means I messed up these things. No, I did not mess up these things. This is a base state. We don't have this. We don't need this. We don't need that. And what else? Sounds good. All right, I think that's what we want. So now we need the treasure room to actually have this character instead of a farmer in it. Yeah, so treasure spirit. Let's just rename you to delete me and instantiate in the actual treasure spirit. And then delete me. Hey, Tolus, how you doing? How'd the stream go? I was only watching for a bit because I'd been streaming for a while. I hope it was a good stream. Out of curiosity, by the way, I know you've mentioned that your stream is family friendly a lot. Have you had problems with that? Because I haven't really. Like every once in a while, like rarely, I guess. But it makes me wonder if the Minecraft community is different. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're doing this and we're looking at this NPC. And it doesn't work at all. Oh boy. All right. Treasure spirit to farmer. Oh yeah, right, of course. I have a to-do item right up here. Where is it? Yeah, make this not a farmer. I just never did it. So now they're a treasure spirit, which means this needs to change. Treasure spirit. Any other instances of farmer? Just uncommented out stuff. I think that's fine. Ended up with a PV. Died after I killed the boss. Wow. Yeah. Out of habit, not really maliciously. Gotcha. Right, we gotta test this again. All right, this is still wrong, but I don't know what's causing this to be wrong now. This is the treasure spirit script that, oh, I think I know what's going on. I never gave you the right, yeah, I never gave you the right things. This isn't even here. This is in the treasure thing. And then these states need to be the treasure spirit states. And now we don't have a problem. Yay. Yeah. Hey, Tenchu. Choose it for out of familiarity for the language. No, it was, yeah, that's what Tolus linked in. The short summary is that I just don't think GD script was mature enough. And it's gotten better. So I don't think it's as much of a reason to get other people to use it. All right, there we go. So remember, they're not a human. Don't look at the human part of this. That's wrong, but we don't have a different graphic yet. So hi, I'll tell you how your treasure room works. You can now sometimes find treasure chests by battling. I think it's a slightly awkward wording. Bring them here. I will ask them nicely to open themselves, but it takes me time to convince them. You can speed this up by offering them keys. Yeah, but it doesn't tell you how to get the keys. But let's leave it like that for now. That's probably good enough. The only thing I want to fix is that slightly awkward phrasing. Where'd that go? You can now sometimes find... No. Oh, how about this? You now have a chance. Maybe this is what Leap Your Girl was saying. Not necessarily to say the specific chance, but you now have a chance to find treasure chests by battle. That's great. That flows a lot better. Does that imply that the chest will eventually open itself? Yes. There will be a timer above it, and the timer will count down, and when it hits 0, it's gonna, well, I guess it technically won't open itself, but it will allow you to click it to open it at that point. Hey, Blue. All right, so let's read this again. You now have a chance to find treasure chests by battling. Bring them here. Okay, now I don't like the bring them here part. No, I think this is probably fine. Hey, Leftist. If I know Adam will make us pay gold for an upgrade to have the chests open themselves. They're already going to open themselves. Well, maybe... Oh, I see what you're saying. Just the final clicking part? Yeah, that might be a perk. Maybe you do know Adam. All right, so I think the dialogue is good here. Yeah. Where's this available action indicator? It's just built into the NPC itself. Has said intro text. What does this do? Mark said? Where do we save this? Intro text. Oh, there it is. Okay, sure. Oh, look at that. No, I think it was already on my to-do list. Turns out Left just doesn't know me at all. He's just reading my to-do list. All right, whatever we end up having here will probably be like kinds of a monster, so it might not need to blink. These are things that don't matter. But we'll know once we have the graphics for this. Yeah, what I was picturing, I've talked about this before, but I like the Super Mario RPG, what? No, not that. There's this thing. Yeah, I like this. This is a little bit angry looking because it's an enemy. But just a treasure chest with some kind of spirit inside of it. It's just pretty minimal. But that's what I want. Almost ready to deal with reality. Did you have a reality overdose? Set up proper dialogue for treasure spirit. They still have the wrong sprite and portrait. But that's just because we don't have the graphics yet. The dialogue is now appropriate for the treasure room. Note that we don't save anything with the treasure room. So we don't say whether we should show the exclamation mark on the NPC. The throttle and joystick I wanted for a single game is on sale for 70% off. It's so tempting. Can you link the hardware and the game? I'm kind of curious about this. Let's make strange key drops that have a chance to do something bad to your town. Oh man. 20 hours later. Are having a half year party next week, day 182.5. I didn't think about that. I wonder if that falls on a day where I will actually have a day 182.5, because I only do that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Also, 20 hours later, I added the stream chat. I think you were the one who asked for that. Hey, Free Tacting. Velocity 1. But whoa, this thing is expensive. And it's not even in reality. It's all simulated. Whoa, it rumbles your entire room? This thing can fly? I'm taking this advertising at face value. Yeah, this looks super cool. Is this for Flight Simulator? What is this for? Because this looks incredibly intense. Also, how much you say? 70% off? So it's 30% of the original price, so it's like 150 bucks. That's still pretty expensive. Yeah, I think I probably shouldn't do that. No, all I did is change those things. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think getting anything for like one game is a risky endeavor for me. So for example, I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just borrowed a friend's PS5. But if I had bought the PS5 just for that game, I would have felt like there's a lot of pressure on that game for me to like it. Do I need one to play Skeleseller? You do, Elaine. Also, hey, welcome in. Bienvenue. It's like an MMO mouse, but it's flight sim joystick. Yeah, but like MMO mice are not that expensive. Gonna play Elite Dangerous, DCS, hopefully Jump Ship someday. Man, Elite Dangerous, I remember back in, I think it was like 2014 or 2015. That must be roughly when it came out. There were some people I was working with at the time talking about buying special stuff to play that game. I'm surprised it's still kicking after a decade. Yeah. Okay, so this stuff is all done. Now we are at this, add treasure chest. We did this part. We did not do this stuff yet. Treasure chest shouldn't stack. Now there's your keys. So maybe we do the timer thing next? I'm not sure what I want to do for this yet. But we have item.create, and this makes an item. If it's a treasure chest, it's got to make a treasure chest. So we're going to need some sort of like item factory, which knows what kind of thing to make. My great grandmother back to that Kickstarter. She sure was into Elite Dangerous. We probably need an item factory for producing the right type of item. It's just where item.create would go. We wouldn't even make a different kind of... It's really just an if statement. If the thing we're making is an item or is a treasure chest, just make it instantiate from a treasure chest. Stream Deck ripoff. It has our building icons, other functions. So you just press fancy buttons. That'd be kind of interesting, making a game that has like Stream Deck support like that. It wouldn't be probably a selling point. It's one of those things though where I don't even know how you'd advertise that feature to people. Is there a way I can listen to some of the music you composed? Yeah, I've got some on my some on my personal YouTube. Hang on a second, let me open this off stream really fast. Yeah, all right. There's a lot of cringy videos on this YouTube channel, so please avoid those and only find the good ones. Yeah, there are some piano compositions on this. There's the whole Botland OST, and the rest of the music is not super easily accessible, I guess. The Skeleseller music, I've got some of it. I've got some of it on. I've got some of it like here. Is it all like town theme 1 through 4? No, that doesn't exist. What about 2? No. What about a no underscore? Okay, I don't know. I don't know where the Skeleseller music is, but I'll eventually upload that probably to YouTube. Is there an asset store for Godot? Yeah, I think it's in beta though. And I don't think it's a store. So maybe if you were explicitly asking about store, I think everything's supposed to be free on here. But I could have sworn this was in beta. They don't have any beta notices on here. Maybe there is a store somewhere. I'm not sure. You can listen to new 3.mp3. Yeah, this was left just as ringtone for a while for who knows what reason. Really love the notes you published. I hope they're helpful. They're mostly just for me, and I happen to make them public. But yeah, I will keep maintaining this, at least the new notes for myself. Are you the guy who's worked at Blizzard? No, I've never worked for Blizzard. I did work for Microsoft, which would... Everyone who works at Blizzard now works for Microsoft. What is this right here? There's a little link button beneath this. Huh, that's strange. Is that on every page now? Oh, it is. That looks like a bug. I should probably report that to Hideo. Where's my afternoon notes? Report this bug to Hideo. E.g. this page. Well, I'll just put it like this. I don't know what I'm talking about because this is only going to be a few hours from now that I'm going to look at this. And if it's not a few hours from now and I forget, then whatever, I forget. Oh, hey, Hideo. You updated without reading the changelog and the explicit breaking changes. This is now built in, so you need to remove your custom stuff, adding header links. I have custom stuff for this? You are definitely correct about the not reading the changelog bit, though. No, wait, there was something popped up saying my configuration, there was a breaking change there. It didn't mention this, though. But yeah, I see. Okay, cool. So thank you, Hideo. I will copy this down. Hideo just happened to be here. Second Italy moved. Oh, how'd the first one go? Need to remind you every 10 minutes that you work for Microsoft. Is this a reference to something? I thought it was at least salient to the Blizzard thing. I don't tend to bring that up a lot. Okay, so we have to get the treasure chest stuff in. And this is what's going to have the timer. And the timer should only happen when this thing is inside of a treasure chest display. The time should only go down when or only count down, I guess, when the chest is in a special display. We have option 1 is never let the player remove it from the display. And option 2 is keep track of when it's in the display and only count down then. Second bullet point. Okay, yeah, cool. Thank you, Hideo. I shall gift thee a point. Cool. It was good. She enjoyed it. She said she had a lot of fun. Nice. Yeah. All right, so I think we should do this. I'm a little hesitant for some reason. I'm not totally sure what. I guess let me think about this. The timer thing is definitely special. This is going to be specific to treasure chests. I can't imagine any other item in the game that's going to have a timer on it. But what if this thing wasn't even an item? It's an item, so it can go onto a treasure chest opener. It could just be an item until that point. Maybe it can change into a totally different entity at that point, elevates, etc. Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. I gotta think about this. Why is the cursor so small? Oh yeah, I was recording a GIF. Hang on a second. Engage privacy mode. Yeah, let me change it. The people want what they want. I'm gonna kick out of this. All right, let's crank up the cursor size. There we go. That's back to normal. If not, blame me and send a message. Okay, yeah, I definitely, I'll let you know. I think it's all probably gonna work out fine. I had not read the change log. I didn't even notice that was a thing. I never would have even realized if someone hadn't commented on my notes. So it's a good thing. Cursor's back. Time to go back to lurk. All right, take care, Hideo. Wait, is this what's causing you to lurk? Did we just discover the reason when the cursor's small? Is Hideo chatting here? Where's the clip you're looking for? I think it's maximum hydration. All right, so here's what we got to figure out. Should the treasure chest be converted from an item to something else when it hits the special stand for opening it? Opening location. If it did, then there'd be no going back. From a player perspective. All right, well, that's a question in itself. I don't know the answer to this, but should you be able to like cancel opening a chest? A worker could bring a chest there without you realizing, in which case canceling would make sense. Oh man. Yeah, I'm leaning toward yes. Leaning toward yes. But maybe there's a more elegant way of solving this from a game design perspective. Like people talk about loot filters. We could have a way to stop you from getting certain chests. We could make sure that chests are always relevant. Any of these sorts of things. How catastrophic is it to lose an item in this way? So the idea, just to be clear here, is let's say you have like 4 like chest locations and you get 4 sucky chests and then you get like 1 great chest. This has no room now. So you're storing this in your warehouse, I guess. I guess you wouldn't lose it necessarily. But yeah, you might be like, I don't want these here. And if you can remove it from the location, so let me open up the game. If you can remove it from the location or to like dump it into the garbage slime, then yeah, that's that. And it would work exactly how you expect. Let's see. So we unlocked this. We put a treasure chest in here. So this is what I'm thinking. Imagine that this has a timer above it now that says like 9M59 seconds or something. So by putting this here, if you can't move it, then you'd be forced to open it, which either means waiting time or sticking enough keys into it. So yeah, I can't imagine why we wouldn't let you move it. So I think we need to let you move it. I think that's it. Okay, fine. Well, then there's that. So then should it be converted to an item? So now with that in mind, so if you're allowed to move the chest outside of the treasure room, then does that change whether it should be an item or not? So if the timer resets itself, then I guess it wouldn't matter. But the timer would have to be deterministic. If the timer doesn't reset itself, then we need to store its time somewhere, which would be in the child class of item. Like we have public class treasure item or treasure chest item or something like that, inherits from item, and has the private float like time to open or something equals, 1,000, I don't know, some number, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm still leaning toward the item route. I just wonder if by having this be an item, if we run into some other issues down the line. I wrote down what the differences were yesterday between this and a proper item. This is not stackable. This has a different tooltip. Where's the tooltip even come from? Oh God, I think it comes from item data. Oh no, it does. Oh no. Why did I do this? Because this doesn't have access to an item. And if it doesn't have access to an item, then we can't get the time that's going to be stored on this thing. How often do we call this? Oh, good. Only 2 places. That shouldn't be too bad. And I'm guessing in both places we have the item itself. Please tell me we do. Oh, we don't have an item in this case. Okay, but we could construct one for the sake of the tooltip. What about the other place where we call this? Are you kidding me? Seriously? Oh no. Yeah, in both of these places we have something close enough. Not in a loot item though. What is a loot item? It has an item ID that's going to drop. So how do we show you a tooltip for that? I think it'd have to say something like bring this to a treasure room. So we need 2 different tooltips for treasure chests. Tooltips are currently computed from item data, not an item itself. This is because of 2 reasons. One, this is because we use it in 3 locations. Why can't I tab it any further? Oh, because I'm already way too far in. Okay, well then. All right, let's just tab all this back. For quests where they're just item descriptors, for loot dropped from battle, where the item doesn't really exist or can't exist at that quantity, and for items in the town, where you would expect, where an item actually does exist. And dragging it away would just reset the timer. You'd keep the timer. I think we should keep the timer in that case. Although I don't know for sure. We could certainly make this a lot easier by just requiring you to open every treasure chest you put in this thing. And I guess the other solution would be just not let your workers automate this. Where is this? Yeah. Could just not let your workers automate bringing chests to the treasure room. That way you choose what you're opening. Or we could have a way for you to throw out a chest or force it open to get worse loot. But get rid of the chest. Okay, maybe this is the route to go. Feeding the slime if you idle, which might be acceptable. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Goose. Force open equals chance to get loot. Um, what I was thinking is, well, we'd have to design this a little bit more, but it could be any number of things. It could be, depending on how close to opening you are, you get like a percentage of the loot, or yeah, a percent chance. So if you have like 1 second left and you force it open, you have like a 99% chance to get full loot because you were so close to finished anyway. Whereas if you have like 5 minutes left and you force it open, that you'd have a 25% chance to get the loot. Or yeah, anyway, there are a lot of little things we can do here. Or we just always say you get a fraction of the loot, or you get some like token prize out of this. I'm not totally sold on that. When it comes to the timer thing, I gotta write this down, by the way. Timer has a timer and timer text when it can be open. Do we let you move a chest outside of the treasure room after you started opening it? If so, does the timer keep its old value? Reason for this to be an item. Didn't I write that it's got to be an item destination? It does. I gotta write something down when it comes to keys. Where are the key things? If you try dragging a key to the treasure room itself, i.e. the drop zone, it should probably say that you need to target a specific chest if you have multiple. If you only have one, it could just target that chest. No, let's just you target a specific chest. No need to get clever with checking how many chests you have. All right, here's what I'm leaning toward. when you put a chest in the treasure room, you're forced to keep it there or like delete the chest. No, delete is shorthand for force open or I don't know, scrap. Not sure yet. And then chests that drop from battle are item instances, and chests in the treasure room are some special new class. And this has a timer and animation, etc., whatever else we need. So this is what I'm leaning toward. From a game design perspective, all we really care about is this first part. This is implementation details. But yeah, this is what I'm uncertain about. Once a chest is here and you've got a timer on it, so it says something like 10 minutes remaining, we could have some like, you can drag this into a trash can or something. I don't know. I can just already see the complaints. Like, oh, I got a low-level treasure chest and they're just clogging my treasure room. Like, make it so I don't have to have low-level treasure chests in there. Smash it with a big hammer. I could see something like that. There's like a hammer off to the side and you click it and you click the treasure chest. Or you drag it to the treasure chest or something. And it just breaks open with whatever loot you already had. Let's say that existed. Let's say there was a giant hammer here and you could smash open treasure chests. Would people complain about which treasure chests are making it into here? So yeah, imagine you're getting, let's just say they were wooden chests versus, you know, jeweled chest or gold chest or something. So you end up getting these wooden chests and you're like, okay, I got to smash them with a hammer. Is that a problem? Because the other way we could design this is there could just be one chest. You just get a treasure chest. And the loot that you get from it is based on which keys you use on it, maybe? Because that way you wouldn't ever care about removing a treasure chest. Could make it so that there's only a single type of treasure chest. That way there's no reason for you to ever want to remove a chest. Make the appearance unrelated to the loot table. Oh wait, sorry. I mean the bigger question, does this mean you only want to spend keys on good chests? So I don't have answers to this stuff yet because we need to probably playtest this to figure out what's fun exactly. But the original design was there would be different chests and there would be different keys. And every key would be -1 minute on the chest timer. And then some keys would do like plus X% chance for Y. And Y could be gold, rare weapon, rare armor, etc. So the different chests themselves would have different timers and like different loot tables, implying that later chests that you find are just better. So the balance is the timer. Yeah, but the timer would only matter. Okay, hold on. I just thought of an idea. Oh, this is probably a stupid idea, but we could actually make the time go up. We could add loot and make the time go up. And then you have to spend longer opening this thing. I'm going to write this down, but I don't think I like it. I guess let's just write the new date. Whoops. We could actually have a key that makes the time go up, but adds loot. I guess I'll just copy this whole thing in here. Yeah, I think that's still the biggest question for right now. Should you be able to get rid of a chest that you've started opening? And the reason why this is important is if you can't, then the implementation for this gets a whole lot easier. I don't know if implementation is ever really a reason to change the game design. If you're tweaking it like slightly or something, maybe, but this isn't necessarily a slight tweak. Yeah, because treasure chests don't need to be items once you put them in the treasure room. They can convert to a special class with the timer, animations, etc. Otherwise, the item needs to store all that information. How do we save items right now? Don't we have an item converter? Is this just a quantity and an ID? That's my guess. Yep, that's what's happening. So we need a special serializer for treasure chests as well, which would have their time, their type, I guess any loot you've added to them. Oh, that's another thing I hadn't thought about. Has a timer. It has any key instilled properties, e.g. plus 25% chance to find a rare weapon. We could just store what loot is inside of it, inside the save file. There's no real reason to do that. Yeah, there's no real reason to do that. And we need to deserialize it into a % chance to show the player anyway. Yeah, I'm torn. I'm definitely torn. The non-timer things keys can do are probably the more annoying part. But I'm not even certain those are going to happen. This is part of what I'm talking about. we might playtest that and realize like, oh, this is a really stupid idea. And originally that's kind of what I was thinking here. Let's say every chest has a 10-minute timer. So now at most you can use 10 keys. And even then it's not likely you'd be able to get them that fast. So maybe on average you're using like 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. Anyway, you can use 10 keys. So that means that if you had rare keys, you can apply like up to 10 extra properties. Is that fun? Is it like, oh, I want to slam as many keys as possible into this chest so I can get more weapons? Is that balanced? Is it like the only way to use this? So this is thinking too far into the future then? Well, that's where I don't know what the iteration time is going to be on this. Like, let's say I was just done now. I snap my fingers, I have a build, and playtesters can try this out. Will playtesters try it out quickly? Are there enough that I'd be able to get consistent feedback? Is the feedback clear enough on what we have to do? Does it not really matter? How much does the vision of players matter versus the vision of like the creator of the game? So yeah, I'm sort of paralyzed by questions here a little bit. With that said, I still think there's enough predictability to whatever system we design. Like if we made it so that you can put a treasure chest in here and not have any way to remove it, I think people would complain. I think that is clear to me. So we just need to, if you're gonna be locked into opening this now, there needs to be a way for you to take that lock out. And if it's as simple as just putting this in your warehouse and it keeps its, oh, you can't click that. Well, you've got that held. If it's as simple as just, oh, I put this in my warehouse and now the timer stops, then okay, yeah, that would work. But the more I think about it, the more I think it should just be open this or destroy it somehow. I am just so thoroughly leaning toward that. I'm leaning toward the chest becoming some kind of fixture once it's in the treasure room. If we didn't do that, then you'd want to see the timer on the chest when it's in the warehouse, but it can't always show, or it may cover other items. Geared more, do you need to find a decision to be able to get the answers you need to refine, get the answers from playtesting? Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you only need to get far enough to the point where the playtest can tell you the rest. Yeah, and I think my issue is like how much back and forth can we cut down on by spending like 1 hour right now coming up with a better vision? And I don't even know the answer to this question, right? Because maybe we stumble on an idea in 7 minutes that we're like, that's it. That's going to fix everything. And that's happened often enough where I think it's worth at least debating some of this stuff. So I am certainly leaning toward this. And yeah, we need some way for you to ditch a chest. It would feel bad if you spent any amount of time or keys on a chest and then completely lost it. So we need some like partial opening or refund. Actually, you know what? We could change the entire system. We could just change the entire chest system. It could be that at any given time, opening it has a chance to drop items. And that chance rises with time and with keys. So there is no complete point. You can just keep funneling resources into it. Or maybe there is a complete point. Maybe it hits 100%, but it's after some like exceedingly long time. Or maybe it does hit a complete, it maybe does hit 100%, but after like 20 minutes. And most people wouldn't want to wait that long. So the idea basically being like, you get a chest, it starts at, say, 10 minutes. You wait 5 minutes. And now its chance to drop loot shows like 60% or something. I know it's not exactly 5 out of 10, but we bias it towards something, or it's a logarithmic scale or whatever. So chance to drop loot shows 60%. You click to open it, get lucky, and get the loot. I think this is too much randomness in here. You randomly got the chest, and then you randomly had to get stuff from the chest. And it might just feel like a little too much. Stopping refunds all keys. It can refund the keys, but it can't refund any time you waited, which maybe isn't the problem. Like a chest starts at 10 minutes, you wait 9 minutes, and then you delete it. And it's like you can't give the time back. I guess you'd give them a key anyway out of it. Underestimate my desire to age that chest to iridium quality. Yeah, that was the starting one. Yeah. Well, maybe that's the fun of this. I wanted the chest mechanic to be sort of a mini game somehow, and I thought it would come through keys, where you're choosing which keys to put into this thing. And maybe you are. Maybe chests are just empty vessels from a mechanical perspective, not from a lore perspective. They need to be filled with something, but from a mechanical perspective, and each key or each minute that passes fills it with an item. And then you opening it is just getting those items that have accumulated. That's kind of interesting. There's something to that. So like a low level chest could have a max of 3 items in it or something, and a high level chest could have a max of 30 items. I'd say it's fine if there's some penalty. Yeah, I think the losing time bit wouldn't probably be too bad. And also, at that point, you'd be more incentivized to just open the chest. So there is some tension there that the player can resolve. Like if you saw a chest had 6 seconds left, you'd be like, let me just wait 6 seconds. And if you saw it had 2 minutes left, you might say, let me just use 2 keys on it. But if you saw it had 8 minutes left, you might be like, yeah, sure, it's a waste, whatever, I'm throwing it out. The longer you rummage, the more loot you find, essentially. Yeah. Yeah. And that would make it so that you have a reason to keep these things around for a little bit longer. And if you wanted to open it sooner, you could. Communicating that might be a little bit difficult. What would we do if we didn't do that? Huh. All right, let me write this down. I think it may be tough to communicate this. Breaking open a chest. It may just be easier to communicate what breaking open a chest would do. It's just a progress bar then, but if you cancel before, you just get partial loot for the progress, right? Yeah, but then the keys would advance the progress, but then also give you some chance for something. I guess this is part of the issue is I never really talked about what some of these keys, like how this works, or I never thought about the balance. So we just look at this red key. It says increase the chance of a rare weapon by X%. So let's say you use 5 red keys on a chest and it still has 5 minutes left to open. Should you get some fraction of your X% that you got? Is that even a fun thing to do? Maybe you can only use a key once per chest. So like the red key imbues it with like there will probably be a rare weapon in here now, and you don't keep increasing that chance. I'm not sure. I also need to think about for the people who are just going to leave this stuff on autopilot, what makes the most sense. I think a chest having a completion point definitely makes sense. Maybe we just stick with what I had originally, then we just figure out the shatter mechanic. Original design isn't bad. Just need to figure out how you can stop a chest from being opened. I think the idea of forcing it open is good. The treasure spirit says that they're convincing the chest to open. So forcing them open would make it clear that you're going against like the chest's will. I don't know. And getting worse loot as a result. Well, especially if you're smashing it open. You just take a hammer. So, all right, let's write some ideas down here. Idea 1 is just you get X% of the loot based on how long is remaining. X doesn't have to be computed linearly. So if you're at 1 second remaining out of 10 minutes, it could be, or I guess that's a bad example. If you're like 1 minute remaining out of 10 minutes, it could be 95% chance. To the point where you might want to open chests, I guess, a little bit sooner. Although maybe we don't even expose this to the player. That's idea 1. Idea 2 is you get some flat amount of gold. In fact, maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you're just melting the chest down. Maybe you're melting the chest down and just getting the raw materials. Maybe you're feeding it to the garbage slime. That would probably make the most sense. Yeah, we already have this means of scrapping things. So we could just have a send to garbage slime thing. Idea 3, you get nothing. Just deletes the chest. This Twitch dropping frames? I don't have any drop frames on my end. So it might be. Yeah, I think my conclusion is that this should not be an item, or it should start as an item. This alone is a reason to probably not have it be an item. Treasure chests only matter in the treasure room. And I can't imagine item converter keeping track of an arbitrary number of properties. I feel like I'm so close. 30 seconds of latency. Should refresh. I'm sold on every part but this one. And what do you do when you've got a treasure chest here and you don't want it here anymore? I mean, we can make it so you just right click and it sends it to the garbage slime. That is pretty easy. It could just be that you right click to send it to the garbage slime. Or maybe you... Yeah, or maybe there's some dialogue for each chest that isn't opened yet, saying, do you want to feed this to the garbage slime? No, right click to do this without opening this dialogue. Hey, Kevin. It's going pretty well. There's a game design thing I'm trying to figure out right now. So you can have chests in the treasure room And when you do, you're going to see a timer show up above it with how long it has until it opens. You can speed this up with keys. This is the original system that we designed. That's all fine. The problem is that to get these chests into the treasure room, your workers might have just brought them here on their own. And it might not be a chest you actually want to open. Maybe you were offered a wooden chest and you want to open the golden chest. So what do we do to let you like get rid of that? And I think the simplest thing is just allow you to feed this to the garbage slime. So you click it, it pops up a dialogue saying, hey, do you want to feed this to the garbage slime? And you say yes, and this thing just floats all the way over to the garbage slime and you get like 200 gold or something. Yeah, I think that's what I'm leaning toward. But had you just opened the chest, it would have given you a bunch of money in terms of items. Wait, but then what was the thing about using keys and stuff? I guess it just increases the value of the gold that you'd get. Yeah, I think this is the most reasonable thing. Or at least, like Freak Technic and I were talking about this, at least this gives the playtesters something to do with those chests. And if it's not the best thing, we could maybe come up with something better. I think I prefer the garbage slime route. The whole point of the garbage slime is for quick money. And chests are slow money. So this lets you ditch a chest for quick money. Yeah. Okay. All right. So does that answer every question that I had? So a treasure chest is just an item when it drops. Then as soon as you put it onto this stand or one of these stands, as soon as you put it here, it now becomes a like special treasure chest that can be opened. It gets a timer on it and it starts getting ready to be opened. It becomes a destination for keys. So if we do this and this and this and this, we get some keys over here. So now you'd be able to drag a key to it and you'd see how that has an impact on it. Yeah, I think I like this. I might also give them a bar to measure their feedback or expectations against. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but the treasure chest will have its own special tooltip that shows you something like time remaining, 4 minutes, keys you've used on this already, red key, blue key, pink key or something, what those mean exactly. And then something like right click to send this to the garbage slime or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Keys are worth a tiny amount of money. Give me more keys. So cool. Yeah. This is definitely a neat mechanic. I think making this room somewhat larger too, so that when you've got your whole town made, the whole place just looks a little bit bigger. I think it could be nice. But yeah, we're definitely starting to flesh all of this out. On a random arbitrary delay, the context was having some discard mechanic, even if it's simple for playtesters. Okay, yeah, I see. So you're talking about playtesters. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Wonder if we should put the town hall over here. There's no reason for people to ever go to this. I think we probably should consider moving that at some point. All right. I'm pretty happy with that idea. So I guess this comes down to just doing this stuff now. Yeah. Also, when does the Steam summer sale end? Steam summer sale is live. When does it go until? Start time and countdown clock. June 26th. Until when? When does it stop? When does the Steam summer sale end 2025? July 10th. Okay, 2 days from now. Because that's when wishlist data should come back. I should probably take a break. And then I should maybe do this stuff. Then again, I'm also just debating. I mean, I know my uptime's only been like an hour and 36 minutes. But I'm debating on just, do I want to do some of this stuff off stream? What would that do for me exactly? So the whole point of Tuesday and Thursday streaming was just to kickstart my day. It has been kickstarted. And I came up with some ideas. It might be nice to do some chill coding. I think I'm leaning toward that. Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward that. All right, so I might do some coding today. I also have to do marketing stuff at some point. Oh yeah, let's fill out the journal. Yeah, I don't want to burn out on the coding stuff too. So coded for a bit on the treasure room stuff, but mostly worked on game design for how game design and implementation for how we'll allow for opening chests. Day was kicked and started. Yeah, I think we'll leave it here. Because if I did take a break and come back and work for like another hour, I don't think we're going to get done with a whole lot. So let's find somebody to raid. Okay, we are going to raid Lana because I want to raid Lana last time, but she was doing sponsored content. But now she's working on her game. Wait, what is this? Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, thank you all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a full day of streaming. So typical like 6 hours sort of thing. If you want to join Discord, there's a link. If you want to play the demo for Skeleseller, there it is. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Sorry for cutting it a little bit short today. Never intended to be a full day stream. See ya.